You've just rolled up to In the Mind of Reelz, where the whiskey's strong, the opinions are stronger, and there's no filter in sight. I'm talking no holds barred. I am Reelz, Marine, biker, musician, and unapologetic patriot. I love my country and all things fast, loud, and wild. And if you came here looking for a smooth ride, well, you're in the wrong motherfucking place. Buckle up, let's get it done. It's time to dive into the chaos that's inside my mind. So today, we're going deep. We're going to go deep and talk about something that might be a little uncomfortable for people. And today's topic is what I would do if I had a year left. How would I spend it with? How would you spend it with, you know? Most importantly, what's stopping you from living like that right now, right? So before I go there, there's been a few pivotal moments in my life that have clearly led me down a different path, right? Like, there was a point where a decision had to be made, and you either go left, you either go right, and either way could change the course of, of what you do, right? So one of those scenarios for me was when I was 22 years old, and I was living at home, like I was in a wrong place, right? So I was living at home because, I couldn't fucking afford to live on my own. I was just getting into bad things, I was hanging around with the wrong people, doing bad things, making poor choices. And I had woke up one day and I said to myself, I need to change my life. I need to go a different course. If I don't, what's going to happen, right? That's kind of what my mentality was. So I literally woke up that day, went to the Marine Corps, signed up, and that decision changed the course of my life. It really did. And I realized as I was going through this process that life is too short, right? At the time I was 22. When you're young, you think you can fucking take over the world and you're invincible and you have like unlimited time. Right? That's not the case. So I made that choice, joined the Marine Corps, changed the course of my life. But it was that time that I knew time is limited. We're on this planet for such a short time, and I need to basically take action. So that's kind of the first time I made like a real defining choice in my life, right? So yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like what would you do if you knew you had a year left? What would you do? And I have all these scenarios, and I have my bucket list, and I have things that I would, go down, and I'll get there in a minute, and I'll tell you about what I would do. But yeah, that's kind of the choice you make when you start getting older. Is like you got to live loud, live free with no regrets. That's always been my mentality. So we're going to talk about that. So like the thing is, people, they just get into a routine, right? You get into a routine, you get out of school, you either go to college, you get a job and start paying bills, and you create your own family, and then you just go down these steps of life, right? Well, sometimes you get so focused on this shit that it becomes a routine, right? So you get stuck doing the grind every day, and you get into a routine. Sometimes you have this fear of failure. To me, that's not living, that's existing, right? And I don't want to exist. I don't want to be in this planet. I'm 51 years old. I don't exist. I live, right? That's the difference. That's kind of where I'm trying to go at. Taking chances and being a risk taker is part of the excitement, right? Of trying something new and doing new things. Stepping out of your comfort zone is important. right? If you don't step out of your comfort zone, you're not going to learn how to deal with certain things, right? You're just going to be like, oh, well, I'm fearful of that, so I'm not going to do it because I don't want to look like an idiot, or I don't want to fail. That's not cool. Again, that's not living. That's just being comfortable in a place, and kind of becomes monotonous and boring. I'd much rather be a risk taker and take chances on things, and sometimes those risks pay off, tremendously. Other times, not so much. But the thing is, it took me a minute to have that mindset of living in the moment. It took me a while to get there. I had to have a lot of failures. I had to go through a lot of different things to get me there. So it's not always easy to have that mentality. The worst thing you can do in life is regret the things you didn't do. To me, that's what's always motivated me to do things. I'm the type of guy, if I do something, I do it 100%. I give 100% effort. But I always want more, right? And I'm not saying like more in the aspect of like I have to be like this multimillionaire and live large. I don't mean that way. When I say I want more out of life. I don't want to just exist. I want to live. And as I get older, I find myself taking more chances and doing things that I never had a chance to do when I was younger due to, not having money or whatnot. And as you get older, that's just how it is. You get older, you get wiser, and you learn the do's and don'ts. Like, you know what? I'm tired of living this way. I'm going to fucking do this. Or you take chances and you're hoping that they pay off, right? To me, that's always been a thing that I've always done, right? So not always easy in the scheme of things. Where I'm going is, so if I had a year left from this time right now, what the fuck would I do? Who would I hang around with? Well, I can tell you what, I do have a bucket list that I've had for years, and I have slowly been checking off that fucking bucket list of things that I wanted to do before I, kick the bucket, right? So I think if I got that word, like, you have 1 year left, bro, from this point on, what are you doing? I would probably, first and foremost, get all my paperwork in order as far as, my house, the will. Like, I would get things lined up to where everything was taken care of. Like, I don't want to be a burden on my family when I eventually leave this planet. For the record, hopefully that's not anytime soon, okay? Hopefully I'm here for at least another 50 years. I want to live to 100. I could say I lived a fucking century, okay? That's cool. But where I'm going is I would have all my ducks in a row to make it as easy as possible for my family to handle those affairs, right? I mean, that's kind of like the downside of dying, like you're not here with your family anymore, but you just left them with a fucking shit ton of bills and paperwork and all that shit. And I don't want to do that. Even now, like, I've already gotten my will done. Like, there's a lot of things I've already done to kind of be ready for when that time comes. So I would definitely do that first. Once all that is knocked out of the way, I would get on my Brandie Wine and I would ride through every state possible. Every state I would ride through, all 50 states. I would find a way to go. Like, I've already traveled to a lot of different states, but I want to be able to do like the loop-de-loo, just fucking all around the United States. I would travel. It'd probably take a couple months to do it. Just experience that whole. If some of you guys know me already, you'll know how much I love being on the bike, and it's just a different feeling. To me, it's pure freedom. When you're on the Harley, it's like nothing else matters. different smells, different sights. Sometimes it's wind, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. It's something about being on the bike that just is better than fucking anything. Better than anything. And to me, that would be the most epic thing to do. Ride across the United States on my Harley and just enjoy life. Enjoy the scenery, enjoy the sights. I would absolutely love to have the chance to do that. And you know what? That's still on my bucket list now. I mean, will I get there? Yeah, I like to think before I kick the bucket, I'm going to have a chance to knock out everything on my fucking bucket list. So we'll see how that plays out. Another thing is I love to travel. I've never been to Ireland. I've never been to Scotland. Definitely would put those on my to-do list. Go to England, Paris. I've never been to the Middle East, go to Egypt, see the pyramids. I would love to see those things. I'm very much into history. So, you hear a lot about these things, in history books and shit, but actually going and seeing these things in person is just something that really appeals to me. I recently went to Sturgis. I rode to Sturgis in 2023. It was epic. Epic fucking road trip. In 11 days, I rode 3,300 miles, and we went through some different states, and I got to see Mount Rushmore, which was on my bucket list. I gotta tell you, seeing it on TV and books is nothing compared to seeing it in person. Seeing Mount Rushmore in person, it gave me the fucking chills, dude. So that was something special, and that's something I definitely would recommend anybody who's never seen Mount Rushmore to find a way to go, because it is truly amazing. You can feel the history of the place too. So yeah, I would travel. I would most likely kind of arrange some kind of meeting or with maybe people that I'm no longer, friends with or something, maybe if there's any, if you got to make amends with people, I don't know, that's kind of a weird scenario because I think it's a common thing to get rid of toxic people in your life. And if people are toxic for you, then why go back, right? But there's some kind of middle ground where there's a part of me that says, even though you've gotten rid of the toxic people out of your life and you're done with them, there's almost a part of me that wants to have one last conversation with people and say, hey, what's done is done. Fucking, you can't take it back. Whatever. We're good. And I don't think it's good to really kind of, be at odds with people. So I've probably maybe arranged some kind of meeting with certain people to just be like, hey, you know what? A lot of shit went down, but whatever. So there's that. And then the rest of that time, I would spend with my family, my immediate family, and my very close friends. And I wouldn't take anything for granted. I would cherish and appreciate every fucking second that I had left with my family and friends. I think that's important. And I don't really have a big family. Some people have a very large family. We're relatively small, so I see them pretty regularly. And even today, we went out and had the family got together, and we had a little lunch up in Lake Arrowhead. It was nice. So I think that's probably all the stuff that I would do if I knew I had, a year left on this planet. So to me, yeah, the riding thing, that is just absolutely the best feeling, and I would love to do that very soon. I went for a little ride today. It was nice. Traveling to different states on the bike, it's just amazing, dude. So, but here's the thing. Life is not easy. It's gonna knock you on your ass. It's inevitable, right? What makes you unbreakable is how you respond to that, right? How you get up, how you handle failure. Those are key things, I think, that really kind of build a person. So I have another little story I could share with you. This is another kind of pivotal moment that I had in my life. So this is fast forward after the Marine Corps. I'm in my mid-30s. And somewhere along the way, in a course of making bad decisions financially and making poor decisions with losing a job and stuff, there was a point in my mid-30s that I became homeless. I couldn't afford my rent anymore, so I got kicked out. Ended up, couch surfing on my friend's couch with my 2 chihuahuas at the time, right? Like I had put everything in storage and I was just living, at friends' houses and couch surfing. And then I lost my car. So if you've ever been in a scenario where you don't have a place to live and you don't have a means of transportation, you feel pretty fucking desperate. It's not a good feeling, and I hope no one has to experience that, right? But there came a point. Well, this was ongoing. I was probably homeless for a good 6 months. Fortunately, I had good friends, and I was able to stay at people's houses. But it was just not a good scenario, right? So at some point, I was just like I was surviving. I wasn't living. Again, there's a difference. There's a difference between existing and living. And at the point, I wasn't even existing. I was fucking merely surviving. And you don't want to live like that, right? So this is ongoing. This goes on for about 6 months. And finally, I just had some kind of like epiphany, right? It was kind of like when I was 22 and I just woke up one day and I said, boom, I gotta change my life. Let's go to the Marine Corps. So it was almost the same thing. Like I wake up and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I'm going to be 40 here soon. What the fuck am I doing? And so I made a choice at that point. I need to find out, okay, first I made a plan. Boom, I need a vehicle again, and I need to get a vehicle by any means necessary. I knew some people, and I started working at, of all places, a weed dispensary as like marketing guy. I'd basically market their product, and I would advertise it online, and in turn, the owner of the company would, after a certain number of hours, right, he would give me this old beat up Lincoln. It was fucked up too, but you know what? I was so fucking, when I got that Lincoln after working my ass off for like 2 months and just I'd had to walk to location, and it was like, I went through a lot of shit in 2 months just to get this old beat up Lincoln. Like the hook caps were missing, the tires were different. There was this long key scratch from front fender to the fucking rear fender, man. And I didn't care. This thing looked like shit. And I didn't care because I got that car and it was like freedom again, right? I was like, holy shit, like I'm fucking mobile again. And so that was step one. Step two, get a better job now and move forward and get a better paying job. And then I can get a place to live. And I really took those steps. It wasn't fucking easy, but that was really a pivotal time, waking up and saying, you know what, fucking fix yourself. You're a fucking piece of shit right now, right? And I don't know, there was just something inside of me, that this drive to want more and be more and be better. And so I ended up getting the job. I got my shit together. I was able to go out and buy a brand new vehicle. I mean, again, it was one of those pivotal moments where you got to make a decision, right? And that was another time I'll always remember that. I think when you get down to the bottom of the bottom, you can't go any further, right? When you get down to the very bottom of fucking life, I think when you're being kicked down, and you lose all your confidence and you're like nothing. When you build yourself back up again, it's truly amazing and makes you realize, hey, look, I'm not going to go back there again. I'm not going to go back and be in that scenario where I'm like living like that again, right? That was another key moment where I was like, made the decision. I didn't want to exist anymore. I wanted to live. And that's why I say, I mean, you know, you get older, especially like I said earlier, when you're younger, you're not thinking about your time on this planet. You think you're going to fucking live forever. But, you know, as you get older, you start to realize, shit, man, you know, it's not always like that. Listen, we all fail, we all lose, but you don't have to stay down unless you want to stay down. You make the choice, right? You make the choice to do better. And that's really what it comes down to, you know. Failing is okay. You fail, it only makes you better. Because you realize, okay, well, I learned here. I'm not going to do that again. And, you know, you move on. So here's my thing. I always want to own my mistakes. If I fuck up, I'm going to tell you I fucked. I will always own my shit. I learn from it and you move on. Number 2, I cut out all toxic people in my life. If my circle of people aren't cheering me on and want to see me succeed, then I'm hanging out with the wrong motherfucking people, okay? And that's kind of how I see it. And you'll know. You know when people aren't good for you. You'll know. And so cutting out toxic people and the influences and these people dragging you down, it's always something that you gotta cut the tie. And sometimes it's gonna take you a minute. Sometimes you don't see it right away. Sometimes it takes a while, you know. And then another thing, this is kind of a takeaway that I want to leave you with is you always want to try to build something you can be proud of every single day. You know, it gives you goals. It gives you aspirations. Okay. It gives you a game plan to course correct, you know, and that's just, you know, one of the things I think helps for me. I don't know. So imagine you only had 1 year left to live. What would you do? Who would you hang with? Where would you want to go? What's your bucket list? I mean, everybody has their own bucket list. I'm sure it's, you know, I'm sure a lot of people want to travel and do these things, but, you know, I want to hear about it. You know, the thing is, what's stopping, and I say this to myself all the time, right? What's stopping me from doing this shit right now? Why would I have to know I only have a year left to take action? Because even now, even though I have this mentality of driven and constantly hustling out and wanting to do better, even I will still get comfortable sometimes and, you know, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of sit back and relax. You sit back and relax, you're watching the world fucking go by. And I'm not a guy that wants the world to go by without me at least having some motherfucking fun while I'm here living in it. You know what I'm saying? I know we're on borrowed time. You know? We're on borrowed time. So what do you do with that time? Are you gonna exist and just go through the same old shit? Go to a job you hate and you stay there because it fucking pays the bills? You're going to go home to your family, make dinner, and fucking watch TV, go to bed, and wake up in the morning and do repeat? Now, if that's something you enjoy doing, dude, by all means, live that fucking life. But, you know, to me, I want more. I want to do more, you know? And here's another thing, too. I don't have kids. I'm not married, right? So it's easy for me to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to go, you know, right across the fucking United States. I'll see you in, you know, 3 months. Like, it's easy for me to say that, you know, because I don't have kids. If I did have kids, I'm sure my whole mentality would change. You know, because it's not about me anymore. It's about, okay, what's best for the kids? What's best for my wife? You know, like those things would play a factor, you know, if I had that kind of family, but I don't. So this is all just what I would do, right? I'm sure you guys have your own things, and I would love to hear about what you guys would do, who you'd hang with. Do you have any weird stories? I fucking want to hear them. I want to fucking hear them, man. So just know, constant reminder. You could fucking die tomorrow heading into work. You can get into a car accident tomorrow. You can have a fucking stroke. There's so many ways that you could die, and it's like you just go through life and not realizing it because we get so stuck in the continuum, right? Of taking care of the family, bills, boom. You get stuck in that routine, and I don't want to be stuck in that routine. I want to love life, enjoy life, and continue to have fun while I'm here. So it's important that we do that. So if you guys have your own bucket list, like I said, I want to hear about it. Feel free to email me or direct message me. And, maybe we could talk about it on another episode and see what makes people tick. I'm all about that. So I want to recap a couple key points before I close this out. You have to stop playing it safe. Stop playing safe. Take risks. You'll find that taking risks, yes, as scary as it can be sometimes, because the fear of the unknown really has a tendency to stop people from doing it, right? Take those risks. You might fail on some, but the risk that you do take may fucking actually work out for you and change your fucking mindset, And not only that, but taking risks is fucking exhilarating, okay? When you take that risk, knowing that you could fuck up right now, and then it fucking just works out great, it's like fucking beautiful feeling, man. It's a beautiful fucking feeling. Another thing, you got to build resilience and own your life, right? That's what I was talking about earlier, taking accountability for your actions. If you fuck up, you fuck up. No need to fucking beat yourself up about it. We're fucking human. It fucking happens. And I say I fail all the time. And, you learn from those. You learn from those things and you build yourself up. I think, failing at times helps build great character, right? Makes you humble because you realize, well, maybe I'm not the fucking badass I thought I was. And it's good to be humble because no one on the planet likes a fucking narcissistic fucking jackass, right? I don't believe anybody likes that shit. So staying humble through failure is a good fucking thing, I can assure you. Lastly, you got to live every day like it's your last motherfucking day. That's what I do. I fucking do. Like I said, I rode the bike up to Lake Arrowhead going on those fucking turns and shit. It's a beautiful ride, but it's kind of sketchy sometimes. But I got on the bike knowing, hey, this could be my last ride. I made it home safe. Here I am. But my point is, I wake up every fucking day knowing that this could be my last day. And that's why you'll rarely see me depressed. Like, depressed or down or upset. Like, you will rarely ever see me down. Because I got no time for that shit. I would much rather be motivated, positive, and focused on a new day. Like, all right, what can I do today to fucking kick ass? Than just be like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. I don't want to go to work. I'm a pussy. I don't want to fucking go out. No, fuck that. Fuck that shit. No one's got time for that shit. I call it victim mentality. No one's got time for that shit, So it's just best to fucking get up and do it again. So, that's it. That's kind of where I'm going with this. So, but again, I want to see what you guys think. I mean, like I said, if you guys have questions, if you have a bucket list you want to share, or a list of things that you want to share with me that you do, let's fucking talk about it. We'll bring it up on next week's episode, and we'll compare them. I love to get people's opinions on things. Sometimes I find that I'm not too different from a lot of other people. A lot of times I think I'm a fucking weirdo, but you know what? There's a lot of motherfucking weirdos out there, and a lot of us think alike. So that's all I got to say about that. But you know what? Before I close out, if you like my content and you want to kind of see what I'm all about, I would love if you subscribe to my YouTube and to my TikTok and all my social sites. I'm still kind of building this podcast, so I've only got a couple episodes out there right now. But as I go, we'll see what you guys have to say, and like I said, we could talk about it. So next week's episode is going to be pretty cool. What's the real cost of freedom? Right? It's not just flags and fireworks. It's a sacrifice and grit and a whole lot of hard decisions, right? So next time we're going to talk about freedom and what it really means and why some people will never understand what it means. If you're ready to get real, don't miss episode 6, which will be next Sunday. That's about all I got. With that being said, this is Reelz signing off. Live free and don't take shit from anyone. Peace.